Welcome to Hack the Entrepreneur, the show which reveals the fears, habits, and inner battles behind big-name entrepreneurs and those on their way to joining them. Now here is your host, John Naster.
Are you running an e-commerce business, being crushed under holiday volumes, and feel like you're in over your head? Well, not if you were using Whiplash, modern fulfillment built to scale. As a Hack the Entrepreneur listener, you can get a $100 credit when signing up today. Go to getwhiplash.com/hack. Hey, this is Hack the Entrepreneur. Thank you so much for joining me again today. I'm your host, John Naster, but you can call me Johnny. My guest today is a former engineer, self-proclaimed terrible surfer, and an entrepreneur from Belarus living the American dream in San Francisco. He spent his formative years finding creative ways to make money and honing his sales skills, as you will hear. And in 2007, he co-founded his first tech company, Coding Staff. After running the company for 4 years, him and his co-founder sold the company to their employees. Then in January 2011, him and his co-founder struck again when they started PandaDoc, all-in-one software to create, deliver, and eSign quotes, contracts, and other sales documents. Now, let's hack Mikita Mikado. I want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Whiplash, modern fulfillment built to ship. If you're running an e-commerce business, Whiplash is your virtual warehouse. You send your products to a Whiplash facility, and when your customers order, Whiplash ships it to them just like you would, but faster and cheaper. With warehouse facilities in Detroit, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and London, Whiplash will get your products to your customers faster, no matter where they live. Plus, Whiplash connects easily with major shopping carts like Shopify, Magento, and Bandcamp, so you can get up and running faster. Remember, if you're being crushed under holiday volumes and in over your head, you wouldn't be if you were using Whiplash. Contact Whiplash now, so this goes down in history as the last holiday you shipped yourself. Don't get stressed out. Get Whiplash. Go to getwhiplash.com/hack right now. And for being a Hack the Entrepreneur listener, you'll get a $100 credit for getting started today. Go to getwhiplash.com/hack. We're back with another episode of Hack the Entrepreneur. And today we have a very, very special guest, Mikita. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, John.
This is, I think this is going to be a lot of fun. So let's jump into it.
We'll see. but you have to make it fun.
That's true. So Mikita, according to your bio, you are many things, but today we are talking to Mikita the Entrepreneur. So could you tell me, as an entrepreneur, what is the one thing that you do that you feel has been the biggest contributor to your successes so far?
Yeah, that one is easy, actually. Learning. I try to learn as much as I can about different sides of the business or different parts or tactics or how things are done at other companies or by other people. And I think that helps the best because I think, the entrepreneurship is kind of like, it's not rocket science. A lot of people in the world, like there are 7 billion people and some are doing the right things. And you can basically grasp what other folks are doing and then come up with your own flavor and ideas and then mix and match and then something good comes out of it. So I think learning is the biggest contributor to whatever I have as of today.
Nice. I like it. So it's like, do you have, would you say like an innate sort of curiosity to learning even before entrepreneurship? Was this something you've always, or is this something since you've started business, you're like, I got to learn more?
I'd say I was curious since I was a kid.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Nice. And then you've found, I guess, the more you learn now, the better it's going to help you. And I mean, you're in tech, right? So you're in software. So I mean, things are changing as well. I mean, the foundations might stay the same of entrepreneurship, but the technology obviously around it changes.
Yeah. And I guess like learning with the urge to try whatever you've just learned, that kind of like, actually, I think that second one, the urge to try stuff like and see what happens, that's another one that I think is pretty important, because like you can be the smartest guy in the room, but you may not like try to do something or to create something, and then it's not gonna go anywhere. But I always had that urge to like try stuff, and I guess that contributed too.
Yeah. All right. So let's go back if we can,
Mhm.
because there seems to be this time in every entrepreneur's life when they've realized sort of one of two things. Either they had this calling to make this huge difference in the world, or as mostly seems to be the case, they just found that they couldn't work for somebody else anymore. So Mikita, could you tell us which side of the fence you see yourself on, and then take us back to that point in your life?
Huh. Well, actually, I think for me it was a little earlier. So like I didn't really want to change the world. I wanted to like have a better living for my family. And like my parents work really hard. I was raised by a single mother, and she worked like, I don't know, 12 hours a day. And my first entrepreneurial gig that I remember that actually made decent money was basically buying like berries from like, I got them free from my grandma. Like,
Yeah.
I just had to pick them, but then from our neighbors as well. So like I basically was picking berries and I was selling them at farmers market, and I was pretty good at it, because it was like from people that were buying those berries, it was like half they were getting berries, half they were doing charity because they were buying berries from like a 9-year-old or something, you know. But nevertheless, that kind of worked, and the sales were pretty good. So then my grandma's neighbors at this like little farmhouse that she had, they started like distributing berries through me. So then there was one neighbor, there was another one. So I had like 3 farmhouses sourcing berries to like my sales business. And that was the first thing, and really I was just driven by but I wanted to help my parents. I wanted to like contribute, and I also wanted to have freedom to like buy my own ice cream. It's like, and no one can say no that I shouldn't have that much sugar because that's my money. So that was like that was the kicker. And then after that, I tried to do a bunch of other things when I was a kid, but nothing really worked out. And I think the next thing that worked out was in college. So yeah, so that's kind of like that's my start on this path. It's farming, John. Like, we're just
It is. I mean, so you started at a really young age. You're like that classic entrepreneur, right? Like, basically you were like cutting people's lawns, but you were selling berries. You were getting for free and then getting other people to sell them.
Yeah, you got to remember I'm from Belarus. Like, no one really has lawns there. It's like
Right.
you know?
So, so we need to get to that, because from Belarus, then did you go to college in Belarus?
Yeah. I went to computer science school back there, and I got this opportunity to jump on the plane and like make like $7 an hour, which was huge for Belarus. And so I flew to US, and there was this like Work and Travel USA student exchange program where you get a job visa for like 3 months, and you basically get a job visa, and you work at a restaurant or hotel flipping burgers and stuff, and like making minimum wage. But that was still great. It was like an exposure to different culture. It was a lot more than I would make back in Belarus, and I would learn language, and it was a fantastic opportunity. So that's how I got here.
And was there still sort of like an itch within you at this point, as like, did you have that entrepreneurial sort of itch to start something, and now you had a computer science background?
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason I've chosen computer science is because, it gives you freedom to create and build without boundaries, if that makes sense. If you want to build a business in real estate, you have to deal with permits and all that, like that, the basically boundaries, like what I see as walls. I don't really like walls, which might be the wrong thing to say at this point, but but I don't really like walls. I don't like boundaries. I don't like, things that make it unfair. Let's put it that way. So I thought that this is kind of like the Wild West, where you can create and you'll not be stopped, regulated. It's just your brain and your abilities, and if you can execute, then you become successful. So that's why I've chosen computer science, because that was this industry that was a clean slate. And then when I landed in the States, I did the work at the airport. I worked at a cafeteria, and then I also built websites for people on the site, and that actually worked out quite great. I've been building websites, and then from building websites, I started working with my current co-founder, who worked together for a long time, and we built a few add-ons, little software products for websites, pretty much for web content management systems, and that became a real business. That was not a super small operation. So that's kind of how it played out. And then after that, we built one software company, and now we're up to another software product.
With the same co-founder?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So was that coding staff prior to this?
Yeah.
You created that, and then you exited that company in 2011, I believe?
Yeah.
And now you've created PandaDoc.
That's right. Yeah.
Excellent. So where did working out of the airport, then creating websites, and then moving into small add-on products, that seems like a natural progression. Where did the formative sort of idea for PandaDoc come?
Internal problem that we wanted to solve. We had to do a lot of sales proposals, and then we first built a product for sales proposals that automates work with sales proposals. And once we did that, we learned that, hey, actually, the world of business transactions is bigger than just sales proposals. There are a lot more transactional documents that companies have to generate that we have to automate, like contracts, invoices, forms, quotes, yada, yada, yada. And then we also learned that every transactional document is usually followed on by a payment, which is another inefficient step in the whole transaction. So honestly, it was all just learning and progression from one point to another. There were aha moments, but they were all, I would say, kind of gradual. There wasn't this overnight success where my co-founder or I just went to bed and then we woke up and it's oh my God, I'm a whole, I have this crazy idea and we're going to go do it. No, it wasn't, it was pretty consistent and, fairly slow.
Very iterative.
Yeah.
From the initial, I guess, probably version 1.0.
Yeah.
Which was...
And even, when I was flipping burgers at the cafeteria at the airport, there was some process that I installed for making a burger. So it was I was trying to figure things out at this point, and then maybe some of it transferred over. But yeah, it was very iterative.
Nice. I like it. All right. So at the beginning, you told me that your one thing is learning and trying to learn as much as possible. Now, every business expert, Mikita, talks about the 80-20 rule.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to do the 20% that gets you the 80% of the results, do what you're good at, and delegate the rest. Can you please tell me, Mikita, something that you are absolutely not good at in your business?
Yeah, but that's something that I can't delegate. That's something I got to get good at. So that's what I call emotional intelligence and the ability to read and understand people better. That's something I have a lot of work to do on. And it gets better with age, but that's one area that I feel I have to work on. So that, and routine work, I'm terrible at routine work. And that's something that I definitely delegate. At the moment I understand how a certain process or a certain function works, I try to hire or get someone internally who's really good at something like that. yeah, so I think that like those are like one strategic. I just needed, for long term, and another one is kind of like tactical. Yeah, routine work. Whenever there's a routine work, just find a specialist who's going
Yeah.
to be better than you.
Yeah. I mean, you're the CEO, so it makes sense that you wouldn't be doing the routine work, but emotional intelligence seems like such a foundational aspect of a CEO. And you were the CEO of coding staff. Obviously that went well because you grew the company and then exited it. And now,
But it could have gone much better. Like whatever we do, it can go much better. So,
right.
you know,
But I mean, you followed the same sort of structure that I can tell of within the company with your co-founder when you started the next company. So
structure-wise, actually, it's very, very different. So coding staff was it's like it was an engineering shop, right? We had 30 engineers and 2 people on the business side. I was one of them. Actually, 3 people on the business side. I was one of them. So it was actually quite disproportionate. And PandaDoc is completely different. I mean, there are a lot of things to learn from coding staff.
yeah.
And there are a lot of things to learn over the course of like last 6-7 years. I changed a lot.
Nice. I mean, 30 developers and 3 people on the business side, keeping through 30 developers going is pretty good. So you're obviously good at sales and business development. It's like selling berries.
maybe like you can argue that like we had a really good top of the funnel and a lot of inbound interest towards what we do. So it's all like it's very subjective. So
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. You're so humble, man. Try and give you credit for stuff and you won't even take it. But fair enough. So let's move to projects if we can.
yeah.
So projects is a loose term, but say it's a new funnel you wanted to implement or a new feature within PandaDocs, whatever that happens to be, Mikita. You as the CEO and co-founder, I would love to know the process you go through right now, whether that's a written process or like an internal gut process. But what do you go through right now to decide when a project is worth not only your time, but also your team's time, energy, and resources?
Mm-hmm. Let me think about something recent that we've done, and I'll tell you what were the steps. So let's say it's something fairly big, like a new initiative within the company. Let's say we've been selling our product through inbound channels, and now we want to go outbound. Like, what do we do? So the step one is to learn as much as possible about how everyone else does it. And the way I do it is through our advisors, things like Quora and a bunch of blogs, and then other CEOs. And I just, try to get as much information as possible. So I kind of like, gather it, soak it in, and then I try to come up with how this might look like for our business. Then the same process happens internally. So with some folks, like I run a few ideas by them and I get their feedback back. And I try to do it with a few people. What that does, it creates a few things. One is it helps to refine the certain strategy that I come up with high level. 2, it helps to build a little bit of internal buy-in, because all of a sudden, not just like kind of like you, it's not like you kind of like
right.
direct this initiative and push it top down, but as a group, you kind of like everyone is a part of the creation of that process or methodology. And whenever I skipped that step, actually, it was like the productivity was not as good, because people don't like to do what they are told to do versus, so that's the step 2. And if we can document it, if it makes sense to document it, whatever we are thinking about, whatever we want to do, we better document it, because that's going to reduce the number of meetings. Not a big fan of meetings, and misalignment, miscommunication, and all that stuff that damages productivity on the long run. So the step 3 is to document whatever the heck we want to do. And like that, that document, it's not like you're creating a manual for, say, an outbound sales rep or whatever, but it's an outline of your vision. And at the very least, what's going to help you to do is to organize your thoughts, the process, and the kind of like the ideas and points of view within your group. So the step 3 is to document it. And the step 4 is to run a few very short like tests. Okay, does that make sense? Are we gonna like get anything out of it? Like, is it worthwhile our time? So you run a few short tests. You try to gather data out of this effort. Yeah, like gathering data is actually good at every step of the process. It's not like a separate step. It's an intermediary step after everything that you do. And then you kind of like expand on this like vision on the documented process, and you try to do it yourself a little bit just to make sure nothing is broken and what you've came up with makes sense. And then you start plugging other people in. So that's how we run projects. And I mean, at least how we try to run projects.
Yeah, I love it. And so you have like gather and you try and get internal buy-in, you attempt to document it, you run short tests, and then you sort of expand on the process.
Yeah. And something like Quip or Google Docs or like Microsoft Word Online works really well for it, because again, like people just comment and make suggestions within the document, and you don't have to have a bunch of meetings, because meetings are not very productive.
Right. And if you were sort of like at the forefront of this big initiative, would you be the one to document it, or would you have somebody else document it from in the team?
I would write.
Yeah.
I like to write. Yeah,
nice.
I would write it. And what I found is like in many cases, like if you can't write something down, then there might be a challenge of like getting something in order.
Right. And it almost seems like between these 5 steps that the idea for the initiative could actually just be proven false, or that you shouldn't move ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
That's the whole kind of process behind it.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. So it's been a lot of fun. I want to wrap up with you, Mikita, on one final question.
Yeah.
It's this idea I'm working with calling the entrepreneurial gap, which seems to be this gap that we live in as entrepreneurs, as dreamers. It seems like no matter what we accomplish, from the outside, we can look really, really successful. I mean, we can start companies, we can exit them, start more companies. But to us, I feel like success is always in the future, meaning that in 1 month, when you hit that metric, in 6 months, when you stand on that stage, whatever it happens to be, right before you hit those goals, you're going to set bigger, loftier ones into the future. And we end up like walking towards the horizon. The further you walk, the further away it gets. So you've come a long ways from that little kid selling berries in Belarus to starting 2 successful companies now. But if you could stop right now, turn and look behind you and tell me how you feel about the highs, the lows, the wins and the losses of your journey up until today.
I feel pretty good about it. It was fun. And I think, yes, it's important to always have this like passion and strive for better and for more, but it's very important to learn to enjoy the moment. And I think I have a lot of work to do on that front. And I know a lot of friends of mine who are also in the similar kind of like roles. They have similar life views. They got to work on that too. So I'd say it's a common I would even call it an issue for entrepreneurs to learn to enjoy the moment, not only the future, but the moment.
I fully agree. That's why I've now asked 299 people that same question. If nothing else, from now on, you can continue looking forward, but I just want everyone to stop right at this moment and look.
Yeah. You know what helps a lot? Meditation.
Oh, are you big into it?
Not big, unfortunately, but
it does.
Really mediocre. Like out of 20%, I'd say I'm at 2, but we'll get there.
That's awesome. All right, Mikita, we've got to talk about your business in passing. could you tell the listener about PandaDoc, and then could you give us some places we could track you down online?
Sure. You can track me down by Googling Mikita Mikado. I have a blog at Mikita.co. My product, PandaDoc, helps small businesses to generate quotes, proposals, contracts, send them electronically to customers, get legally binding electronic signatures on those documents, and then get paid through the documents. So we're a complete solution that helps you to automate your business transactions. And I would love you guys to check us out at www.pandadoc.com.
Awesome. You are also on Twitter, I believe.
Yeah, it's Mikita Mikado.
Excellent. So on Twitter, Mikita Mikado, Mikita, Mikita.co is his personal blog where he continues to write about tech and entrepreneurship. So you can find out more there. And PandaDoc is the company. Definitely stop by and check it out. I will link to all of it in the show notes. So whenever you're done working, jogging, walking, whatever it is you're doing right now, that will be there for you. Mikita, once again, man, thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks for sharing so openly, and just please keep doing what you're doing, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you, John.
Mikita, thank you so much again for that conversation. I really, really enjoyed that. I hope you out there listening, I hope you got as much out of that conversation as I did. Mikita's a smart dude. Done some really, really cool things. Very, very humble because, I mean, PandaDoc is just rocking it, doing amazing things. I mean, he's very humble about it. I appreciate that. But he got to some interesting places, and he, I think, explained some of his thinking on a lot of stuff really, really well and eloquently, which should help you as much as it helped me. So as usual, it was fun to go through the conversation and be a part of it, get to sort of engage with him. But I love this part of the show when I get to go back and listen like you do. So I did. I went back and I listened through to the conversation. Then I went back one more time and listened through, and then I went back again. That third time that I went through the conversation, there was this one thing that Mikita said that was so very, very clear when he said it to me. It was that one thing. Did you get it? Did you hear it? Let's do it. Let's find the hack.
So the step one is to learn as much as possible about how everyone else does it. And the way I do it is through our advisors, things like Quora and a bunch of blogs, and then other CEOs. And I just, try to get as much information as possible. So I kind of gather it, soak it in, and then I try to come up with how this might look like for our business.
And that's the hack. Mikita. I love this. I love your whole 3-step sort of way of dealing with a new big project, but we're going to stick to the first one because this idea of gathering information, soaking it in, and seeing how others do it. You said you start with your advisors. Maybe you have an advisor, maybe you have mentors, maybe you have a mastermind group, and then Quora, places where people ask questions and answer. You could go to Reddit, you can go to Facebook, you can go to blogs of people that you follow, other CEOs if that's what you are, or if you're the marketing officer, or if you're the product manager, whatever it happens to be that you are in your company. I love this idea of just-in-time learning, right? So when we're first starting out, I push people to just stop learning and only worry about learning the next step that you need to learn. But now when he's running a company, Mikita, and he's the CEO, and he's already sold one company and he started another one that's successful. And I love that when it comes to the first step of a new initiative or a new project within his company is to see how others have done it successfully in the past. Brilliant. Don't reinvent the wheel. Why try and start and make the same mistakes that tons of other people have already made when you can just spend some time, whether, depending on the size of the project, I mean, that time could be 2 hours, it could be 2 days, it could be 2 weeks, depending on what it is you need to gather this information. But gather it, soak it in, this idea of just-in-time learning. You're learning this next thing so that you don't have to make the same mistakes and so that you can execute better based on all the information that is already available to you. Soak it in, educate yourself, gather, and then from there, he says he goes back to the team, gets buy-in, so it's not just him pushing it from the top down, and then document it. And if you can't document it, then there's an error you made somewhere along the way. But I absolutely love this. Step one, gather and soak in all the information and see how everyone else has done it successfully, then move forward. Mikita, thank you. All right, that was a lot of fun. HackTheEntrepreneur.com is the website. Make sure to stop by there, and I'll have information about Mikita on there. Mikita.co is his site. I'll get some social media for you, as well as PandaDoc. You can check it out, and yeah, maybe it's something you could use in your business, but that's the place to stop by. Get onto the email list. I'd love to have you on there. You can hit reply to any email, and it comes straight to my phone or to my inbox, and yeah, let's have a conversation. Tell me what's up. Maybe you have an idea for a cool guest that you would like on the show. Yeah, let me know. I'll see what I can do. All right, it's been fun. Thank you so much for stopping by. I absolutely 100% appreciate you taking the time. I know you have a lot of choices, but it's been fun. So until next time, keep hacking the entrepreneur.